Hi, thank you for joining me for this online reading of 103E.5 Salon Spa Ownership and Fundamentals Aesthetics by Pivot Point. This is an audio reading. This is not intended to take place of your in-class lecture, simply an additional tool that you may use to follow along in your textbook or use as an audiobook. Have you ever thought about owning your own salon or spa? In this lesson, moving up in your career, combined with your artistic talents, values, and experience, will pave the way to fulfilling a professional life. Following this lesson on salon spa ownership, you'll be able to identify common salon spa ownership types and their structures, describe the requirements for good salon and spa ownership business practices. The focus will be on salon and spa ownership. Begin the process of owning a salon or spa and requirements of salon spa ownership. One day, you might want to run your own salon or spa. The successful salon spa owner, through ambition, commitment, and hard work, can enjoy personal and financial security and the creative freedom to build a lucrative business. Page 74. Begin the process of owning a salon or spa. No matter what your career goals are, it's helpful to know the fundamental principles of different salon spa ownership models and operations. Understanding the inner workings of the salon and spa will enable you and the owner to meet goals together. This section explores how to begin the process of owning a salon or spa. Self-appraisal. Are you ready to own your own business? A salon or spa owner does not have to be all things to all people. An esthetician planning to open a spa should assess their own skills and hire employees who have strengths in areas that they feel less confident. Skills essential to success as an owner are: recognize popular skin trends and technical expertise, communicate confidently with the public in ordinary and difficult instances, be open-minded about suggestions and criticism from clients and staff, demonstrate self-control in uncomfortable situations, manage the financial operations of a spa or work with a professional bookkeeper or accountant to create a budget that predicts income and expenses, manage retail inventory by utilizing proven inventory management principles, develop your knowledge of legislation and regulations that will influence your business, establish, review, and adjust spa treatment costs in accordance with local economic factors, promote skills and new and existing treatment methods to generate business, and organize a business plan that supports growth and stability. Here are some quick questions to ask yourself if you're considering self-employment. Are you self-motivated? Are you physically and mentally healthy? Do you love to learn? Can you survive without a paycheck until the business can pay you? Are you resilient? Do you have a high tolerance for risk? Do you have willpower and discipline? Are you a leader? Do you like to meet new people? Can you handle high levels of stress? Page 75, the financial statement. Financial statements are written records of a business's financial situation. These are essential when sourcing financial help for a business, such as a loan. Financial statements include the following standard reports: a balance sheet, an income statement, a cash flow statement, an ownership or shareholder equity statement. These are important because for many businesses, initial outgoing expenses are extensive, and a loan may be required to cover fundamentals such as a lease or rent deposit, attorney services, equipment, products, consumables, local government licenses, malpractice insurance, property or premise insurance, product liability insurance, unemployment insurance, and or workers' compensation insurance. Organizing your finances on paper will help identify shortfalls and help to show business lenders that you are a good risk. A personal financial statement. Anyone thinking of opening a business must have money to invest. However, not everyone has thousands of dollars to equip and operate a spa. Therefore, you must prove that you are a good risk, so a bank or savings and loan will lend you money. Preparing a personal financial statement is the first step towards securing a loan. A personal financial statement contains 3 basic elements: a list of all your assets, which is property that you own, savings accounts, property, antiques or jewelry, gold or silver, collections such as stamps, coins, etc. Assets are all the property you own. The best assets are cash valued items such as certificates of deposit, IRAs, life insurance policies, savings bonds, stock bonds, and cash in money market, checking, or savings accounts. Number 2, a list of liabilities. This is your accumulated debt. Personal loans, hire purchase agreements, car loans, credit card balances, mortgages, student loans. Liabilities represent all the money you owe. Any outstanding balances on your assets are liabilities. Third step, create your net worth, calculated by subtracting your liabilities from your assets. So you'll add up your assets, subtract your total liabilities, and that gives you your net worth. Your personal finances should be in order before you go into business. Getting help from a certified financial consultant could prove beneficial. Once you determine your net worth and your ability to borrow money, then you can determine what kind of spa you want and can afford. Most small business owners are not particularly sophisticated business people. That's not a criticism. They're passionate about what they do, and that's why they got in the business, not because they have an MBA. An adapted quote from Andrew Mason. Page 76. Discover more. A bank might only lend you 10% of your net worth. With a net worth of $20,000, for example, you could borrow approximately $2,000. A spa will cost, on average, from $10,000 to $100,000, depending on location, improvements, and equipment needed. It's possible to borrow money with a low personal net worth, but then you are categorized as a high risk. In this instance, you may have to pay higher interest rates than usual. Small business loans guaranteed by the government are an option. These loans are processed by banks and have detailed requirements, including providing a business plan. You can find more information at U.S. Small Business Administration, www.sba.gov, or the Canada Innovation, Science, and Economic Development, if suitable. Types of salon and spa ownership. The table shows what's involved with owning different types of salon and spas. First type of ownership, sole proprietorship. The structure of this ownership, the business is owned by one person. What is involved? The single owner receives all profits and controls all financial aspects, including work schedule, providing all consumables, updating skills, debts, and losses. Owner manages all business decisions, and it's the quickest way to set up your own business. Number 2, a partnership owned by 2 or more persons. Can be persons with different skills that build on each other's strengths. All costs of opening, operating, and maintaining the business are shared by the partners as agreed. Partners manage the business together and oversee different areas based on their strengths. Advisable to have a signed, written legal agreement which includes identity of partners with full personal details, percentage of ownership distinguished between the two, allocation of profits and losses, areas for decision making, a contingency plan if a partner should die, procedure for resolving disputes, and how the business can be dissolved or a partnership transferred. Also, partners have liability shared by the percentage of ownership. Number 3, an LLC, a limited liability company, can be owned by 2 or more persons. An entity that is a blend of a partnership and a corporation. It requires an operating agreement depending on the location of the business. It limits liability of owners based on the amount of business debt guaranteed by the owner, not liable for other owners' actions. It's a very popular form of business structure due to the tax requirements and limitation of owner liabilities. Page 77. The fourth type of ownership, corporation. Corporation is owned by its shareholders, a legal entity separate from its shareholders, which is formed under legal guidelines. A corporation has a charter or articles of incorporation describing its purpose and the structure of the company. S and C corporations have different tax structures. Shareholders elect representatives known as the board of directors. The board of directors appoints officers to run day-to-day business. Shareholders receive income based on the corporation's profits. And corporations may be privately held by just a few stockholders or publicly held. If publicly held, stock is owned by many people and is available for sale on one of the stock exchanges. Generally, stockholders are not liable for the corporation's debts or losses as long as the corporation is operated as a separate legal entity. Laws concerning liability or damage to persons or property as a result of a corporation's activities may be different according to where the corporation is formed and the place where it conducts its business. A lawyer and an accountant should be consulted to ensure that the corporation is properly established and conducts business in accordance with local laws. Your fifth type of business, a franchise. This requires an operating agreement, simple policies about hours, products used, employee benefits, salaries. The look, feel, and color of the spa are all decided by the parent corporation. This is a form of operation, not a form of ownership. The owner of a franchise can be a sole proprietor, partnership, or corporation. Certain rules must be followed in the operation of a franchise. An initial purchase fee plus a monthly service charge is paid to the parent ownership in exchange for fixtures, promotion, advertising, education, and management techniques. It's an excellent way to share in the knowledge of industry experts. Page 78, requirements of spa ownership. To begin the planning process to own a spa, you'll need to research the following. Location. The most important factor in opening a spa business is location. What are the available locations in your area? You need to assess parking, high traffic activity, disabled access, and rental fees per square foot. Number 2, the market need. How many salon or spas and technicians are there in the area? Determine the types of treatments being offered. Look at competitive pricing, how much the competition charges. Look at types of potential clientele, the age, income, social groups. And look at fashion trends popular in the target market. A 10-year forecast of the economic future of the community can usually be obtained from the local Chamber of Commerce or Economic Development Agency. Number 3, cost of necessary improvements. The spa's unique requirements, such as dollars that must be spent for improving plumbing, lighting, treatment rooms, electrical wiring, heating and air conditioning. A landlord will sometimes share in this expense. Spa equipment is a separate expense not included in improvements. Number 4, compliance. The spa owner's responsibilities also include following all local, state and province and federal rules, regulations, and laws. Examples include city zoning and business codes, city or county waste disposal rules, and assigned state or province regulatory agency licensure regulations. Spa owners are required to remain compliant with taxing agencies like the Internal Revenue Service in the U.S. Compliance is also required for occupational safety and health rules, which govern employees in the workplace. Also, follow various acts such as the Americans with Disability Act, which allows access and fair treatment of disabled persons in the business and educational environment. The Canadian Human Rights Acts and the Canadian Charter of Human Rights and Freedom govern access and fair treatment for disabled persons. A lawyer could help the spa owner comply with all regulations. Have you ever heard the saying, the 3 most important things in choosing real estate are location, location, and location? This is especially true in the spa business. High foot traffic areas with accessible parking are best. Page 79, getting the right advice. At this point, any serious future spa owner will need advice from the experts. Number 1, an accountant can tell you what a bank is likely to lend you based on your net worth. An accountant is a financial advisor, not an expert in the spa industry. They are generally paid on a monthly or quarterly basis. The accountant's tasks would include informing you about types of business ownership and their tax benefits and liabilities, evaluating a rental agreement, setting up a basic bookkeeping system, including periodic income statements to evaluate profit or loss, recording and preparing tax payments to various government agencies, and representing you if you are audited by a taxing agency. Number 2, an insurance agent. An insurance agent will provide advice on insurance needed to open and operate a business safely. Insurance is a form of risk management. When you buy insurance, you are paying a fee to a company to assume your risk of loss. For example, car insurance is a set dollar amount of assumed risk on your car. The insurance company is betting you won't have an accident. You're betting your premium that you might have an accident. The insurance rule is, if you can easily afford to totally replace an item, don't insure it. An exception is when you could be held responsible for personal injury if the item malfunctioned or if property for which you were responsible caused an accident. Certain insurance, like workers' compensation, is required to protect the consumer and the employee. Select a reputable agent and company that offer all insurance policies needed for the spa. An agent is paid a commission according to company policies. Number 3, a spa consultant. A spa consultant is an advisor on the planning, operations, and design of a spa. This consultant is optional, but they could save you a lot of money if you don't have much experience in spa operations. Spa consultants are typically contracted for an hourly rate for small projects. They can help source design and equipment resources. They often take a commission from the manufacturer or other service provider. Be sure to get full disclosure before you hire. Number 4, a distributor sales consultant. A distributor sales consultant representing a full-service, professional-only distribution house is the link between manufacturers and the spa. It can be beneficial to develop a strong relationship with one distributor who carries all the products and equipment needed to open a spa. The distributor might have financing available. They may help in the spa design. They may help find a good spa location. They may aid in locating prospective employees, and they may provide spa continuing education and large-scale educational seminars or workshops. The distributor sales consultant earns a commission on your supply purchases. However, they may be able to provide you with an efficient, cost-saving inventory control system. This would ensure a maximum return on investment in retail and professional use products. A good distributor-owner relationship is invaluable. Discount and cash and carry beauty supply houses offer products and equipment for spas. Also, some manufacturers sell directly to owners. Owners should identify what's most important in the spa operations when selecting a distributor. Page 80. Space requirements and floor plans. In general, it takes 120 to 150 square feet per esthetician to create an efficient working space. Square footage is obtained by multiplying the length of the location by its width. For example, a 15 by 30 foot space is a total of 450 square feet. A spa consultant could help you design a sample spa layout based on 3 to 4 estheticians working in a space of that size. Some regulating agencies have specific minimum space requirements for each esthetician. In this instance, the spa will be licensed to employ a maximum number of people working at one time. As the owner, you could give more space per person, but this could increase investment costs, which can cost the spa more than is profitable. The ideal spa arrangement has an efficient traffic pattern. The best design requires the fewest steps for the client and esthetician to travel. All spas require a reception area with seating and a desk for receiving guests, a dispensary, a restroom and service area, such as treatment rooms. In addition, spas have retail display and promotion area, a lounge, laundry, and utility room. Develop a floor plan for your proposed location before determining any details on equipment, cost, or interior decorating. Get architecture plans and work with a licensed contractor to avoid costly mistakes. If a location cannot be arranged with an efficient floor plan, look at other locations. Sometimes a location is priced right, with good traffic and the type of clientele desired, but the cost of installation is too high. Examine alternatives, then work out decorating details. There are many factors to consider when trying to meet guidelines for local and state regulations when opening a spa. If you are responsible for construction, it's important to get plans drawn up that can be filed with local regulatory agencies. Be sure to work with a contractor who has commercial experience and understands the use of space. Ask for copies of all licenses and liability insurance before signing any contract. There are always issues during construction process, so plan your opening with a realistic time frame in mind. Page 81, Environmental Guidelines. Adopting a commercially responsible attitude for your business and the environment will ensure that you can develop and implement protocols that are compliant with all government requirements, reduce your business's carbon footprint, implement cost-efficient methods of working and using resources. This approach could benefit the spa by appealing to the ever-growing customer base that is environmentally conscious. Waste disposal. Proper waste disposal is a legal requirement and it avoids unnecessary pollution. A variety of laws exist to cover business refuse. A variety of laws exist to cover business refuse disposal, particularly clinical waste. This includes items such as wax strips and blood-contaminated waste. It is important to keep up with the latest guidelines on waste disposal. Anyone with hazardous substances needs to ensure their safe disposal without harming the environment or public. All household and commercial waste is subject to the U.S. National Environmental Policy Act. All waste is controlled and monitored to prevent people from disposing of chemicals in an unsafe manner. Hazardous waste guidelines are established to avoid potentially increasing toxicity by stating that the chemicals must not be mixed together before disposal. Noise and lighting. Noise levels and lighting can also be considered unnecessary pollution. Employers should take measures to reduce extreme noise or exposure to it by providing hearing protection in situations where noise is considered excessive. Excessive noise in a spa environment can affect your revenue. It is essential to provide a quiet area for all aesthetic services. Clients will not come back to an environment that creates more stress. Sound reduction walls and doors in the spa area to avoid excessive noise from the salon area would be beneficial to the spa. Lighting adds to the de-stressing environment and should be environmentally friendly. Use an electrical contractor or interior designer to help plan a safe and soothing environment. Things to take into consideration when it comes to providing adequate lighting in the workplace. Good health and safety practices. Minimum recommended light levels for specific tasks. Assessment of risks attributed to poor lighting. Environmental impacts, and ambiance effects. Page 82, borrowing money. After you have found a location, determined a suitable and affordable floor plan, identified the cost of fixtures, and estimated the capital improvements necessary, you'll need to determine how much money you need to borrow. You should not sign a rental agreement until you received your loan approval. Your accountant should advise you of the operating capital required to open the spa and pay the business expenses for at least 6 months. Generally, you will need to be willing to invest some of your own money in the spa for a lending institution to grant a loan. It's important to make all your loan payments on time to avoid default. Your payment history will be considered in any future loan requests. Discover more. A business plan. A business plan should include an executive summary, the introduction to the business, the mission statement, your vision, which is supported by a set of values or code of conduct, personal details, including relevant work experience and present income, the type of business, premises, equipment, and products needed, human resources. Estimate the cost of employing people required in the first 2 years. Products and services. A description of the types of products, treatments to be offered. The business market. Where and who are your customers? A market appraisal. A unique selling point for the spa. Review of competitors and their marketing strategies. A SWOT analysis. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And financial strategy. Cash flow forecast for the first 2 years of profit and loss. There are apps available that will help walk you through creating a business plan. Many local colleges and universities also offer management and business training that can supplement your education to help you become a successful spa owner. Page 83, rental agreements. Once you get a loan, you can enter into a rental agreement called a lease. A lease should extend for 5 years with an option for 5 more years to avoid unexpected rent increases. Also consider including an option to give notice to vacate the premises after 2.5 years, known as a get-out clause. Keep in mind that it is unprofitable to install a spa for less than 5 years due to the time needed for a new business to grow and flourish. During the initial stages of negotiations, consider the following guidelines. You should negotiate for the owner of the building, called the lessor, to pay all or part of the capital improvements. Such a request is reasonable because these improvements will stay in the building when you move out. These improvements could include large water heater, maintenance on heating, windows, roof, general running repairs. As the renter or leasee, you promise to pay rent and use the property according to the agreement. It is common for spas to need extra water pipes, large water heaters, more electrical outlets, and washer and dryer facilities. You will probably have to pay for these special features. However, be sure to arrange for the maintenance or repairs on standard building equipment, such as a furnace and air conditioner, to be the landlord's responsibility. A large portion of the spa's expense is the rent. There are two kinds of rent. Number one, a fixed rate. This is a set dollar amount paid each month to the lessor. Allow you to predict your monthly expenses. The rental figure is usually reviewed by the landlord and at the end of the lease, notifying the tenant of any increases. The second is a variable rate. This is made up of a set dollar amount plus a percentage of the total monthly income. Variable rents are common in malls and large shopping centers. Could be a higher risk and needs serious consideration due to the small percentage of profit earned by the average spa. Have your accountant predict the results of variable rent system before signing a lease. Have a lawyer evaluate a tentative lease and suggest changes. You can negotiate changes in any lease. Don't sign a lease unless you, your lawyer, and your accountant are satisfied that it is fair and reasonable. Page 84, types of insurance. Insurance protects you from the financial difficulties that can follow the unexpected loss of property, income, and/or life. The following are types of insurance available to eliminate some of the risks of being in business. Malpractice insurance. This is a policy that protects the spa owner from financial loss that can result from employee negligence while performing treatments on clients. Every spa professional should be insured by the owner. Independent contractors need to carry their own malpractice insurance. It covers the cost of a lawsuit or settlement resulting from damage or harm to a client during any service performed within the scope of practice. Example: a client's required patch test showed no indication of allergy, but the client still had a reaction after treatments. The spa's malpractice insurance would most likely cover the cost of the subsequent claim. Conversely, if the spa had failed to provide a patch test and the client had a reaction, the insurance company would likely not pay out on a claim. Property or premise insurance. Policy that covers the actual spa equipment and physical location in case of natural disasters, fire, theft, or burglary, or accidents occurring at the business. It covers replacement of lost items and carries a liability clause that will pay a claim if someone is injured on the premises. Example: a client trips over a dangling cord and sustains an injury. Product liability insurance protects against financial loss arising because of injury or damage resulting from the use of a product. Manufacturers are also responsible for carrying this insurance. Example: a client purchases a product and develops a reaction after using it at home. Unemployment insurance. Required by federal law for all qualified employers. Employers pay into a central fund that offers compensation to laid off, displaced, or otherwise eligible employees until suitable employment can be found and/or designated amount of time has passed. Example: a salon goes out of business and employees are left without work. Workers' compensation. A government-required insurance. This insurance is paid quarterly to cover any expense resulting from an injury to an employee. If the employee is injured while working in the spa, all medical expenses are paid by workers' compensation, which provides the employee with a guaranteed income until the employee can return to work. Example: an employee falls while at work and is seriously injured. Page 85, taxes. The salon spa owner is responsible for withholding from an employee's income for the payment of certain taxes and for paying these withholdings to the government. In the U.S., these include federal, state, and local income taxes and Social Security tax. The spa owner also has a tax obligation to the employee. Important terms related to taxes include Social Security, planned savings and retirement fund for every worker in the United States, Social Security. For every dollar of Social Security tax paid by the employee, the spa owner must pay the same amount to the federal government. Medicare. This is part of Social Security tax. It provides medical insurance coverage during retirement. W-2. A spa owner must provide an annual W-2 form for each employee. W-2 form will indicate all taxes paid for the past year. All employees need to verify that the spa owner is submitting taxes under the correct Social Security number, so appropriate credit is given. Sales tax. U.S. and Canada have sales tax on products and services. Spa owner is responsible for collecting and paying sales tax to the state on a monthly or quarterly basis. Spa owner must apply for state sales tax permit before collecting tax on products or services sold. Payments are a permanent record of the spa's dollar volume. Rates vary by province in Canada and by state in the U.S. Page 86. Independent contractor. Independent contractor is an IRS term that can be applied to estheticians who rent or lease workstations from a building owner. Rental or leasing fees can vary depending on urban or rural location. The building owner provides a work location and pays the utilities. The leasee, the esthetician, provides all professional supplies, a telephone line, and products for retail sale to clients. In the independent contractor system, the esthetician, who is considered self-employed, reports income and pays self-employment tax directly to the government each quarter. There are no benefits provided to the leasee by the spa owner other than a place to work. Renting a space or room monthly is the quickest way to set up your own business. You determine your work schedule and are responsible for supplies and continually refining your skills. There are significant tax advantages for the esthetician in this instance. However, you will need to familiarize yourself with the complex laws and tax rules associated with this type of business ownership. This setup might not be ideal for recent grads who usually need time to build a clientele. It's typically suited for a professional with an established following. Income tax is paid on the profits of a business. In the U.S., the IRS establishes criteria for reporting profit and loss. Page 87. Managing expenses and income. A spa is financially successful if its income is significantly greater than its operating expenses. Income refers to all payments received from clients for services and home care products purchased. Expenditure refers to operating costs. Operating expense refers to all the costs incurred in running a spa each day. If the salon or spa's income is greater than the operating expense, the spa is operating at a profit. If the operating expense is greater than the income, and the spa is operating at a loss. The business may operate at a loss as clientele develops during the first few weeks, months, and even years that it's open. Your accountant should help you take this into consideration when your initial financing is arranged. If you make a profit, you pay a percentage of that profit to the appropriate governmental bodies. If you suffer a loss, you receive a tax credit. Careful planning and control of expenses are essential. IRS and CRA rules require you to keep a log of all of your tips, which are income. Keep a copy for yourself and submit a copy to your employer. The spa owner is responsible for reporting employees' tips. All of these variable expenses can be controlled. If your operating statement shows a particular expense that is too high, you can take steps to reduce costs. Expenses shown in the table that follows may be higher or lower for your spa, depending on climate, size of community, and region. Increasing profits in ways that won't increase your expenses much will yield a higher net income. Retail displays, for example, use existing space and require a one-time expense for the display unit. The only ongoing expenses are the costs of keeping the display well stocked and perhaps retail commissions paid to your spa staff on their retail product sales. Staff compensation is the largest ongoing spa expense. This is an example of an average cost of operating a business by percentage of income. These are known as ratios and vary based on region, country, and business model. It's very important to have an additional education to help set up and understand a successful business model. As you can see, compensation is the highest ongoing expense. In this example, the total operating expense was 88% of the income. Income minus expenses equals profit. The better you control your expenses, the faster you will pay off your debt and be able to see higher profits. Page 88, Spa Philosophy, Policies, and Procedures. A spa should have a professional philosophy or code of conduct. Creating a policies and procedures handbook is the first step in developing these standards. It provides a set of rules for the owner and staff to work by and can be revised as needed. The handbook should thoroughly outline the owner's expectations of employees and may contain information about job descriptions, educational and professional requirements, client relations policies, employee conduct guidelines, location of SDS information, guidelines on dealing with client or staff disabilities, dress code, hours, pricing structure, treatment and service standards, record-keeping policies, benefits, infection control standards, care of equipment, absence policy, complaint policy, causes for termination of employment, and emergency and safety procedures. A spa handbook should also tell the employee what to expect from management. The employer is expected to provide a safe and pleasant working environment, reasonable working hours, equitable salary structure, products and supplies, and sanitation services. Additionally, employers should hold regular team meetings where employees can offer suggestions, opinions, and ideas that will be heard and considered. This all can be covered in the handbook. Emergencies and unsafe situations. Every spa should have emergency procedures outlined for situations like fire, weather events, crime incidents, and threats. Emergency procedures should start with calling emergency services by dialing 911 if lives are in danger. Other situations like dangerous weather events should be outlined within policies and procedures. There should be a quarterly training on all procedures and to get feedback from the staff. Some specific education, such as recognizing domestic abuse, can help shape procedures as well. Industry connection. Develop your business sense. Talented professionals might not translate into talented business owners. Spa owners need to learn other aspects of the industry, including how to run things well and keep staff motivated while making a profit. Here are some additional tips to keep in mind. Find a mentor. Get expert advice. Join associations and visit other spas as a guest to learn both what to do and what not to do. Page 89, understanding the inner workings of spas will create a foundation that allows the professionals and owner to meet goals together. In this lesson, we learned common spa ownership types and their structures include sole proprietorship, owned by one person, partnership, owned by two or more persons, limited liability company, blend of partnership and corporation structure, corporation, legal entity owned by its shareholders, and a franchise, a form of operation rather than a form of ownership. Can be a franchise of sole proprietor, partnership, or corporation. We learned requirements for a good spa ownership business practices include researching location, market need, cost of necessary improvements, and compliance responsibilities, getting the right advice from accountant, insurance agent, lawyer, and distributor sales consultant, identifying the space requirements and floor plans, following environmental guidelines, determining how much money to borrow, negotiating a rental agreement, establishing malpractice, property or premise, product liability, unemployment and workers' compensation insurance, paying taxes, identifying expenses and income, and providing spa philosophy, policies, and procedures. Thank you for joining me for this audible reading of Pivot Point Fundamentals Aesthetics, Catalog 103E.5.